All right, boys and girls, this is part 4 of lesson 1 on the STARS packet. And this is for Friday, May 15th. Okay, so what we're doing is we're building on what you have learned so far. And we still are focusing on the main idea. So the main idea is something not in the story. It's sometimes not in the story, excuse me. You can figure out the main idea by thinking about what the story is mostly about. Ask yourself, what is the story telling me? That's basically the big thing you have to do when you're reading anything, is to say, what am I reading about? What is this story telling me? Many stories have a title. A title usually tells something about the main idea of a story. So read the first part of the story about Max, then answer the questions. Getting ready to paint. Max held a paintbrush in one hand. He held a cup of water in his other hand. Paper and paint lay in front of him. Max was about to paint a picture when his friend stopped by. So it told us to read the first part of the story and answer the questions. What is the story mostly about? Okay. We might know the answer, but we're just going to finish the rest of this. Do you need help painting? Tim asked. I helped my mother paint our house last year. This kind of painting is different, Max said. You have to do it by yourself. What is the story mostly about? Let's look at the title. Getting ready to paint. Max likes to paint. Max does not want any help. Max is going to paint a picture. Which one of these would be correct? What is the story mostly about? Did it ever talk about Max liking to paint? No. Is the main story about how he does not want anyone to help? Or was that just a little sentence at the end that you have to do this by yourself? It's not saying that he didn't want help. It's just not the main part of the story. Max is literally just going to paint a picture, getting ready to paint. Max is about to paint, and that is the main story. Where or how did you find the main idea? In the first sentence, in the last sentence, by thinking about the most important idea in the story. Well, Max held the paintbrush in one hand. If he has a paintbrush in one hand, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to paint. Here's the first sentence. The title of the story gives you a clue. The ending, hold on a second. What is it saying? The title of the story gives you a clue. Oh, about. The title of the story gives you a clue about what? The most important idea of the story, the ending of a story, all the things that will happen in the story. Well, you guys should figure that one out. The title of the story gives you a clue about, getting ready to paint. What is the most important idea? Hint, hint. What is another good title for this part of the story? How to paint, pretty pictures, or Max is a painter? You guys should guess that one, okay? And this last part, it says, read the next part of the story about Max, then answer the questions. You don't want me to help, Tim said sadly. No, Max said. He dipped his brush into some red paint. But if you want, you can paint a picture of your own. Really? Said Tim. He was much happier now. Sure, said Max. I have lots of paper and extra brushes. This sounds like fun, said Tim. He sat down next to Max. It's a lot more fun than painting a house, said Max. So what is this part of the story mostly about? Tim feels sad, Max wants to be alone, or Max shares his things with Tim. So what do you guys think is the main part of the story? What is all this telling you about? Tim feels sad? Well, he is sad, but they talk about it. And then he says, well, you can have a paintbrush and I have paper and you can paint here with me. So it's not about Max wanting to be alone, but it's about Max sharing his things with Tim. What is the story telling you? Max is kind to his friend. Max does not need any help. Max is not painting a house. So what is the story telling you? What is it really talking about? Think about it. It's a boy that has a paintbrush. He's gonna paint. He doesn't want help from his friend because it's all about painting something yourself. He shares with his friend and now they're both painting. So Max does not need help? No, not really. Max is not painting a house. It had nothing to do with a house. So Max is kind to his friend. Max is actually kind to his friend. He actually shares his items with him. What is the main idea of this part of the story? Tim asks if he can help Max paint. Max asks if Tim wants to paint. Tim feels sad that his friend does not need his help. What is the main idea of this part of the story? I want you guys to try to get that one. And number 12, what is a good title for this part of the story? Left Out, Helping a Friend, Let's Paint Together. Okay, and you guys should be able to find that one out too. All right, part 5, that is on Monday. So you guys have a great weekend and I will post this one on Monday. Have a good one.